is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Okay, moving in. He sends one on goal, and he scores.
And it is a power play goal.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in. Here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand. Trying to go to the front. Makes the move and shot. And he scores!
Smith delivers. That's it back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from South Shore Little League in Staten Island, New York, the PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. In our first game on day 3 of pool play, Plattsburgh Little League takes on Penfield Little League, with Plattsburgh looking for their first win and Penfield hoping to move on to the semifinal round. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, alongside my broadcast partner, Nick Durst. And Nick, you got a chance to take in the last game these two teams played on Tuesday. I got to look at these two teams on Monday, and for Penfield, it was a stark contrast in their second game to what we saw from them in their first effort.
Absolutely. Penfield coming into the second game riding high off that big victory the night before, and they just couldn't muster enough offense, and they dropped that game. And Noah Lamuti, he was on the mound. He pitched pretty well, but not enough offense for his team in that game. They'll be looking to bounce back here today with CJ Spadafora on the hill.
Well, Nick, you flipped the games. Penfield lost game 1. They won game 2. You had the games flipped, but Penfield bounced back on day 2 following a loss on game 1. Penfield on the first night of the tournament, they really struggled early in that game, fell behind 9-0 in their 9-4 loss. That game was played on Monday night against Auburn, but they showed great grit and resilience late in that game. They battled back, lost by 5. However, they had multiple chances to get much closer than that in the game on Monday night. And then on Tuesday, Penfield was able to come away with the victory. As for Plattsburgh, you saw them play an extra inning game on Tuesday, and Plattsburgh battled. They were down 3-1 at one point in that game. Came back to tie the score at 3, but ultimately Auburn was too much.
Yeah, Auburn had a great victory there. Cohen Ashby had the go-ahead 2-run home run in the 7th to ultimately give his team the victory. But for Plattsburgh in that game, it was Kellen Parks who had the start. He pitched pretty well and made some great plays defensively also, and his big 2-run single was the reason to tie the game in the first place to ultimately send it to extra innings.
And Nick, they are introducing starting lineups out on the field right now, so I'll pass you the starting lineups for both teams ahead of the start of today's game. First, on the side of Plattsburgh, behind the plate will be number 5, Easton O'Connell. Batting second will be the shortstop, number 2, Patrick Ryan. Check out the second baseman, number 2, Patrick Ryan. The shortstop, Kellen Parks, wears 0. He will bat third. Matt Whitbeck will pitch, wearing number 26 in the cleanup spot. The extra hitter, Rowan Rabideau, wears number 13. He bats fifth. Number 9, Jacoby Waldron, will play first base and bat sixth. Batting seventh is the third baseman, number 8, Joey Lamonto. Batting eighth is the left fielder, number 11, Blake Lautenschouts. Batting ninth is the extra hitter, number 10, Zeno Lefebvre. Extra hitter number 3, Nate Beatrice, bats 10th. And right fielder number 27, Andrew Carter, will bat 11th. On the other side for Penfield, leading off will be the pitcher, number 6, CJ Spadafora. He will be followed by the third baseman, number 27, Noah Lamuti. Batting third is the first baseman, number 14, Noah Bolt. In the cleanup spot is extra hitter, number 28, Ryan Sullivan. Batting fifth is the center fielder, number 2, Spencer Camp. Batting sixth is extra hitter, number 99, Braden Struzik. Batting seventh is extra hitter, number 22, Jack Clark. Batting eighth is second baseman, number 1, Matteo Natali. Batting ninth is shortstop, number 10, Grayson McCormick. Batting 10th is left fielder number 3, Will Belofsky. Batting 11th, extra hitter number 13, Louis Sapir. Batting 12th is catcher number 15, Quinn Dougherty. And batting 13th is right fielder number 12, Ambrose Valentini. So with introductions for Penfield still to come, we'll stay right here and take a deeper dive into this matchup here today. And Nick, obviously for Plattsburgh, it's a long shot for them to move on. They're 0-2, but with a win, it is possible. The way that Plattsburgh could move on would be to pick up a big win, and then later today they have to hope that Auburn can move to 3-0 with a win over Harrison, and from there they just have to hope for the best. They need Harrison to give up quite a few runs in order to make up the difference in run ratio, but you know that as long as a team comes into this day alive, they're going to give it everything they have and hope that things fall their way.
Absolutely, and the good thing is in the Auburn-Harrison game, Auburn's offense has been really solid so far. So if you're Plattsburgh, you're obviously first have to just worry about your game right here on the field today, come away victorious, and then hope everything falls into play. And we know that Plattsburgh will certainly give it their all here today. Manager Ryan O'Donnell was preaching to them pregame that we still have a shot, so let's just go out there, do what we do best and got us here in the first place, and that is win baseball games.
And we're going to talk about exactly what it would take. So let's take a look at the runs allowed for each team. Auburn right now at 2-0 can clinch a spot in the next round with a win. There is a wild scenario where Auburn could miss. It is unlikely, but not impossible. So definitely Auburn will go out in their next game if Penfield were to win, and they will manage that second game coming up next as if it is a do-or-die game. Can't take any chances in that regard. But if Penfield does lose this game, Auburn would move on to the next round by virtue of their 2-0 record. Runs allowed for Auburn, 7, 2-0 record as I mentioned. For Penfield, they have allowed 10 runs with a record of 1-1. So of the 1-1 teams right now, Penfield is in worse shape than Harrison. However, if Harrison were to lose and Penfield were to win, that's a very easy path for Penfield. So you know that the Penfield squad will be rooting for Auburn should they win. Harrison is 1-1. However, they have allowed the fewest runs, a total of 6 runs allowed, and we'll give you more on that following the national anthem. And we are back from South Shore Little League, where ahead of the national anthem, we were going very quickly through the runs allowed totals in this American pool. To recap very quickly, Auburn at 2-0 has allowed 7 runs. Penfield at 1-1 has allowed 10 runs. Harrison at 1-1 has allowed 6 runs. And Plattsburgh at 0-2 has allowed 15 runs. So Plattsburgh would really need to run up the runs allowed total on Penfield. They would have to score at least 6 times, and in that case, they would need to win via shutout in order to overtake Penfield in a potential 3-way tie. So that's what it would take. As we mentioned on night 1, Nick, run ratio is runs allowed divided by 6. So that is how the tiebreakers are calculated. Thank you to John in the live chat for passing that information along to us on Monday night. We've only had the 1 extra inning game, so the only team that's been negatively impacted, and the point of the run ratio actually is that you are not negatively impacted, but the team that has been negatively impacted in terms of runs allowed total as a result of extra innings is Plattsburgh. So that game against Auburn went extras. However, run ratio is runs allowed divided by 6. So that is where we stand right now. Plattsburgh in a tough spot, but as we said before, Nick, they are going to give it everything they have, still mathematically in this.
Yeah, they're going to go for it, that's for sure. And good weather, I think, for this game today. Not too hot, a little bit of wind, so we'll see if that impacts the ball blowing out. Anything down the left field line, you have the perfect view for it, Joe. You are on the line right now, so you'll see if anything's fair or foul. Something to keep an eye on here, which probably nobody notices, is that we're looking at a very rare 3-man umpire crew. Most of this tournament's been a 4-man crew. Umpires are not used to doing 3-man crews, so we'll see if that factors into anything here today with the plays at second base.
That's a good point, Nick. I didn't catch that, but the umpire in you doesn't miss those details, so we always appreciate that insight. And something else I'm picking up on today, Nick, it is far more windy today than it has been on any other day of this tournament. The wind is blowing from left field toward right field, and we work on the ledge of the balcony. I have all of my paperwork in front of me. If I don't keep this paperwork anchored down, they're going to have some unwanted papers flying around the outfield. Just for the person, I believe it was Aaron who asked in the live chat, the difference right now between Plattsburgh and Harrison is 9 runs. They would need Harrison to allow quite a few against Auburn if Plattsburgh is going to have a chance to overtake them. But we are underway from South Shore with the first pitch of the game in for a called strike 1.
77 degrees here in Staten Island on the South Shore with some wind and cloud cover.
What I will say is that it is by far the most comfortable weather that we've worked in to this point. A nice breeze. It is overcast and potentially some rain in the forecast. However, PDF will be with you all day long regardless, as we are covered. O'Connell fouls that pitch back, and he's behind 1-2. Last time that I saw O'Connell back on Monday night, he was 1 for 2 with a single. That pitch misses high for ball 2. That one's grounded to second, handled cleanly, throw to first in time, and that's the game's first out.
Nice play there, and that's the start, the exact start that Penfield is looking for, so good job there to get things started with an easy out.
That will bring up Patrick Ryan. Ryan, another left-handed bat, facing a left-handed pitcher as that misses high. Ryan on Monday night was 0 for 2. And he lines one into shallow right center for the first Plattsburgh base hit.
Nice job hitting there by Ryan to get his team started here with a single here with 1 out.
That will bring up Kellen Parks.
Kellen Parks, very dangerous hitter for this Plattsburgh Little League team.
And he takes high for ball 1. Well, the good news for Plattsburgh relative to what I saw on Monday is that they got off to a slow start in that game, didn't have a base runner for the first 3 innings, as Parks slices that one foul.
Good attempt there by the first baseman, making a diving attempt.
They did fare much better in the game on Tuesday. Scored 3 times in an extra inning loss against Auburn after being shut out on Monday night. And that's fouled away. And Nick, they deserve a lot of credit for how they played on Tuesday after they had to play in the late game on Monday. It was a very quick turnaround for them having to play early Tuesday morning.
Yeah, and could be some fatigue issue, but these kids are young. They're 12. They're enjoying their summer, and they probably loved going back-to-back in the games.
If anything, it gives you a very quick chance to rebound. And once again, Plattsburgh opens play here on Thursday. The 2-2 on its way, and Parks takes outside.
Full count now. See if Ryan takes a little bit of a bigger lead.
Comes the payoff pitch. And that's in the dirt for ball 4. We said it, Nick. Plattsburgh needs to score quite a bit in order to have a shot. And they have 2 on in the first inning. A good start for them.
Exactly what they were looking for to start things off from the pitcher, Matthew Whitbeck, at the plate.
That's a wild pitch off the backstop. The runners are hung up. Throw goes to first. Not in time.
Looks like Parks there expected Ryan to take off. Ryan did not go, and then Parks had to retreat back to first.
Well, for the teams that are playing here at South Shore for the first time, and Plattsburgh is in that group, they are now very well aware of how that backstop plays. Strong bounces off that padding.
Big difference with Great Kills, where it's much closer to the backstop to the plate.
That was some bounce. There's a good off-speed pitch, swung on and missed for strike 2. CJ Spadafora looking for a big punch out. Comes the 1-2. And he got him. Whitbeck goes down swinging for a big second out.
2 outs now on the great job there to get the strikeout.
For those questioning in the live chat, this is technically an elimination game for Plattsburgh. Penfield still has a shot if they lose, but it would be an outside chance as they would have to overcome run ratio against Harrison. So that is the implications of this game as that pitch is taken for a called strike 2 by Rowan Rabideau.
Spadafora painting the corners right now.
No balls and 2 strikes the count on the Plattsburgh extra hitter. And he hits one in the air just beyond the infield where the catch is made in shallow left by the shortstop McCormick. Plattsburgh strands 2 in the opening half inning. We head to the home half of inning number 1 with no score.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from South Shore Little League where there is no score, headed to the home half of the first inning. Plattsburgh with their tournament lives on the line. Penfield hoping to make their path to the semifinal a bit easier. That being said, they could still move on with a loss. It would be tough, but not impossible. And we'll talk more about that at the conclusion of this game and discuss exactly what the teams would need to move on should those scenarios present themselves. As for Penfield, they send Matt Whitbeck to the mound, second time that we've seen him pitch in this tournament. And at the top of the lineup for Penfield, he will face Spadafora, Lemuti, and Bolt.
Some dangerous hitters at the top of this lineup for Penfield. Plattsburgh had 2 runners on with 1 out, unable to convert in that top of the first inning.
And those are opportunities that, as this game progresses, Plattsburgh won't be able to afford to miss. But it's very early.
Yeah, and something you got to think about here, if these kids are thinking about it, but could be the last Little League game for a lot of these kids. They'll be on to Babe Ruth next season, 90-foot bases.
Throw down over to second signals the start of the bottom of the first inning. CJ Spadafora will be the batter. Spadafora, left-handed bat, left-handed thrower. We don't see that too often. Spadafora, last time I saw him on Monday, was 1 for 3.
And just want to point out that our graphic right now is displaying final, working on trying to clear that and get it to the bottom of the first inning.
Give it a click, and then give it another click in that box next to final, and you should be good. That's fouled back as the count runs to 0-2. Spadafora quickly in a 2-strike hole. Long look in from Whitbeck. And he comes set and steps off. You could tell that there was something going on there, whether it be the battery awaiting a sign from the dugout or a disagreement over the 0-2 pitch. Whitbeck ready for the 2-strike offering. And that misses low.
A step off there resulted in a ball. See if they can get back on the same page here.
Not surprising to see him waste one on 0-2. And that's pulled into shallow right down the line. Foul ball.
Looks like he narrowly missed that, but will remain at 1-2.
Much easier for us to pick up the line in left field as we are seated directly overlooking the foul pole. Almost had one hit to us last year. And Spadafora is hit by the pitch.
Oh, the pitcher hit by the pitch. He's on base to get things started for his team.
And you hate to see that after Whitbeck got ahead 0-2. And that will bring up Noah Lemuti. Lemuti doubled home a run, or I should say doubled and scored back on Monday as that pitch got away, allowing Spadafora to take second.
Spadafora watching closely there and able to advance.
Wild pitches, passed balls, often very consequential as Lemuti takes strike one. And the 1-1 is lined into shallow left field for a base hit. Spadafora will be held at third. And a strong throw from right has the runner hung up between first and second. They get the out there. Spadafora takes off for the plate and scores.
Interesting running there. But they get the run to score, and it's the first run of the game.
That's good base running by Spadafora as Penfield buys themselves a run. Lemuti will be credited with a single.
Yeah, well, and we'll take a look at that replay when we get the moment. Quite a lengthy one, so.
Believe he's out at second, 7-5-4. I think the third baseman cut that ball off and threw him out. So one away in the inning, 1 run home, and that will bring up Noah Bolt. And that's such a tough position to be in as an infielder, Nick, where you have to decide, do I take this out that's right in front of me and risk the run coming in to score, or do I concede second base and keep the runner at third? I'm not sure they had any chance to get it out at the plate once the decision was made to go to second base.
Right. You got to decide. You want to just give the runs, or get the out. Here's a quick replay of that sequence. Great throw in from the left fielder.
Yes,
absolutely. It's to set that up to Geese get one out.
Out and left. That's Lautenschouts who made that great throw. Count 2-1 on Noah Bolt here. And he hits one pretty well out to right, but that got in on his hands, and the catch is made for out number 2.
Bolted it out to right, but easy play there out right field. 2-way.
That will bring up Ryan Sullivan. Sullivan had a pair of hits on Monday, last time I saw him. And he sends one foul. Comes the 0-1. And that misses low. 1-1 home in the opening inning for Penfield. And that's hit well deep to left center and gone. Ryan Sullivan has himself a solo home run, and Penfield has doubled up their lead. It's now 2-0.
Well, Joe, right before he even got his first pitch to him, I was thinking to myself, this looks like a guy who could certainly crush the ball. And crush the ball he did.
He sure did, Nick. And just like that, it's a 2-run game. What a shot by Sullivan. That got out of here in a hurry.
Big home run for him, and his team now ahead 2-0.
And Nick, it's easy to forget about following a blast like that, but if they don't take the out at second, it's a 3-0 game right now.
Extra run, yeah.
So
take a quick look at the replay of that bomb to left center.
The decision ultimately pays off for Plattsburgh, but now their situation growing more and more dire as with each run that comes home, their path gets slimmer and slimmer into the semifinal. At the plate, Spencer Camp, and he is ahead 2-1 strike.
Penfield getting the bullpen going here early.
That ball got out of here very quickly.
Do we have the exit velo on that?
I'm not sure we've invested in advanced stats yet, as the catch is made on the run in the right field corner for the final out of the inning. But not before Penfield strikes for a pair. Punctuated by a solo home run from Ryan Sullivan. Our score, 2-0.
When it comes to sports, why be good when you can be legendary? At Legend Sporting Goods in Brooklyn, we service the community with only the best custom apparel, embroidery, and service, specializing in youth sports, so that the leaders of today become the legends of tomorrow. We're proud to support all of this week's great athletes and invite everyone to check us out and make us a part of your team. Come see why Legend Sporting Goods is in a class by itself. Visit us online or call us now.
And we're back from South Shore, where the home team in this one, Penfield, has jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Penfield did have action in the bullpen. However, they will send C.J. Spadafora back to the hill. And, Nick, you have to wonder if they were to get ahead by, let's say, 5+, do they then consider perhaps running out different pitchers? Now, I don't think you can, because they've given up more runs than any of the teams who have won a game already. So I don't think you can do that, but it's a tough call, and you will have a semifinal looming if you do advance. You're hoping, of course, if you're Penfield, that Auburn can win later and make that run ratio point moot.
Yeah, and it's a lot to consider, a lot to weigh, and that's what the managers are going to have to do in this one.
And for Tyler, who was asking in the live chat, Penfield does not have to hold Plattsburgh to 0 runs. However, if they do hold them to 0 runs, that gives them the best chance. Once again, run ratio, runs allowed, divided by 6. Obviously, it helps you indirectly to run up the run total of the other teams in your pool, but runs scored does not directly factor into the calculation of run ratio. So keep that in mind. And Penfield, again, has allowed 10. Harrison has allowed 6. And Auburn has allowed 7. So they're going to need some help, even if they win this game, whether it's in the form of an Auburn win or Auburn scoring a bunch of runs and a loss. They will need some help. First pitch in the second inning is taken for ball 1 by Jacoby Waldron. And that's chopped foul. Obviously, it's never ideal to lose a game on day 1 of this tournament, but to lose in an effort where you gave up double-digit runs really puts you in a spot that is just so tough to climb out of. And Plattsburgh not quitting, as that's bobbled off the backhand. And what do you think, Nick? E4 on that one? Or was it deep enough in the hole?
I think he was going up the hole.
Deep enough in the hole?
I'll give him a single, I think.
Right, deep enough in the hole, single for Waldron.
Gotta go to the backhand,
Yeah.
up the middle more. Even if he cleanly fields that, probably tough to get him out of first.
I think if he fielded cleanly, he had him, but I think you're right. It was deep enough in the hole where we can give a hit on that. So it's a leadoff hit for Waldron. And that will bring up Joey Lamonto. And he chases up Pye as he swings and misses for strike 2.
Something to keep an eye on with Plattsburgh here, if you're a Penfield fan watching at home, is a lot of their lefty hitters do like to go to the opposite field.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Lamonto goes down on 3 pitches, and there's one away.
Good pitch in there to get the strikeout.
And speaking of hitters going to the opposite field, Nick, to build upon your point, we have seen some extremely pronounced shifts throughout the week. Not yet in this game, as that's fouled back by Blake Lautenschouts, but we've had some very, very pronounced outfield shifts, less so on the infield, but we've seen games where there is nobody in left field.
It's pretty wild. And for Plattsburgh, I've seen Elliott Purrier.
That's it out to center. Easy play there. 2 gone.
Nice catch there. But for Plattsburgh, Elliott, he has at least 5 putouts in right field in this tournament, which is a lot.
Zeno Lefebvre will be next. Runner on first, 2 outs here in the second. And Lefebvre looks at a strike. Comes the 0-1. And he had him a bit out in front there, as Lefebvre is behind 0-2. The 0-2 coming. And that's down and in. The 1-2 on its way. And that sails up high. Plattsburgh has made Spotafora work here. He's up at 32 pitches now. Comes the 2-2. That's popped up and over the seating bowl.
For a lot of these little leaguers, this must be a real treat to play in this field. Looks like a stadium with the stands here behind them.
It's a very nice setup for us as well. Have our own perch out in left field. You can't ask for much more than that as a commentator. Definitely one of the better venues that I've called games in. Count even at 2. And that's high for ball 3.
And you've certainly called a lot of games at some awful venues over the years.
We won't name any of those, but there have been some really tough venues to work in 9 years now of broadcasting. That's hit softly on the ground to short. McCormick has it, and he throws out Lefebvre to retire the side. Plattsburgh strands 1 in the second. They still trail by a pair. Our score, Penfield 2 and Plattsburgh nothing.
This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering Island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
And we're back from South Shore Little League, where Penfield leads Plattsburgh by a score of 2-0. Matthew Whitbeck back to the mound for Plattsburgh, and he will face 6, 7, and 8 Struzik, Clark, and Natali here in the second. On the side of Penfield in that first inning, it all got started with a hit batter, and those free passes always consequential. And Nick, remember that Spadafora scored from third after advancing on a ball that got to the backstop, and that extra base allowed him that opportunity to steal the extra run.
Very alert on the base paths. Got up there, and then when he was at third, he saw the throw going to second. He took off for home.
I think the point that I've been hammering home all week, aside from the free passes killing you, is don't take any bases for granted, and certainly don't concede extra bases unnecessarily. Call me Captain Obvious, but it just seems every time that situation presents itself, the team at the plate has been the team to capitalize. Braden Struzik behind here 0-2. And he looks at a called strike 3.
Well, what more can you ask for if you're Whitbeck here? 3 pitches, 1 out on a strikeout.
Good start to the second inning for Whitbeck. And that pitch is taken high. Comes the 1-0. That's in the dirt.
2-0 now.
And Nick, I think we have Aaron Goldstein in the live chat. AG Ball for Life, is that his handle?
Could be him, could be his father.
True.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Players like Aaron make covering the game easy, of course. We cover Aaron on the basketball court at the College of Staten Island. It's a 3-0 count here on Jack Clark. And that's taken on the inside corner for a called strike.
3-1 now.
And that's outside for ball 4. There's another free pass. This time in the form of a walk. And Matteo Natali will be the batter.
Ball thrown down to first for some reason there before the runner even had touched the bag. Guess they're worried he might go for second, but what it really comes down to, Joe, in all these games is limiting the walks and the errors.
And Tyler, yes, we are out of Staten Island. I was born and raised here, Nick. Same go for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Can't you tell by our voices? Oh, we don't have the worst accents.
We don't have the heaviest New York accent, but when I listen back to myself, sometimes I can hear it.
Yeah, same here.
Count even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Matteo Natali. But I recently moved to New Jersey, so officially I am a New Jersey resident at this point. Count 2-1 on Natali here. 2-1. Down and away for ball 3.
Penfield showing a lot of patience at the plate.
Both teams have put together some good at-bats early in this game. I'm trying to recall if it was the Penfield game the other night where I think it was 4 straight hitters attacked the first pitch. I don't believe it was that game. I think that was the game here, the EGC game. I operate far more off of memory than I'd like because of handwritten scorecards. You can't just type in a stat you're looking for, and there it is right in front of you. So the accent comes out when I raise my voice, says Tyler. Could definitely see that. The battle continues between Whitbeck and Natali's. Natali's fouled back a couple now. Count remains full, 3-2. They'll give Whitbeck another baseball here. I will say, whenever I travel out of state, especially down south, I get pegged as a New Yorker so fast. Not sure if it's the look or if it's the voice.
Must be the voice. The Southerners think everybody who has any sort of accent's from New York.
Yeah. That's high for ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Whitbeck. Clark moves up to second, and Natali is on first.
Well, this is kind of a repeat of the first inning. 2 runners on, 1 out.
Taking a look at the fences here in response to the live chat as Grayson McCormick looks at ball 1. He was showing bunt. There's no marker for distance on the fences here. I know Great Kills is 204.
I'm going to assume they're right around 200. That's pretty standard.
Yeah,
no less than 200.
Tyler was speculating perhaps 225 as the throw goes down to second. And Kellen Parks has been very active on the infield, backing up and covering second. There's a swing and a miss by McCormick for strike 2. Count now 1-2 on the Penfield shortstop. 2 on and 1 out here in the second. That's ball 2. And that's hit well out to right field, and it is over the head of the right fielder. It rolls to the fence. Beatrice couldn't get to it as the throw comes home. 1 run in. The out is recorded at second, and 2 runs come in to score. That's going to be officially 1 RBI for Grayson McCormick. It's now a 4-0 ball game, and a second run comes home as Natali came in on the throw to second.
Well, once again, Penfield trading the out for the run as the play at second gets the runner out, and the runner does score. So nice job of hitting though to get the RBI.
And that is correct, chat. There are 3 umpires, as Nick noted ahead of first pitch. That's been outside of the norm for this week as Will Belofsky looks at strike 2. That's hit in the air, foul.
Yeah, so with the 3 umpires, depending on who was on the bases there, but the first base umpire on that play has to come over to second to make that call.
And that's often overlooked when you have a crew of less than 4. There's a lot of timing and placement that is required to make the call from the best vantage point possible.
Right, and with 3-man crew, so if there's a runner on first, then the third base umpire is going to have to come over to get the play at second, unless, of course, then you're going to have to play at third. So a lot to keep in mind. They have to be communicating very well with each other.
Not to mention, it is a completely thankless job.
Oh, yes. Not worth it most of the time to do it.
You would know from experience as that misses inside and the count runs full. And that's ball 4. So Belofsky draws a walk. And Nick, that's the third walk of the inning.
47 pitches now.
First 2 walks came in to score. And that will bring up Louis Sapir. Sapir shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike.
Must have been taking all the way to show bunt there.
In response to John in the live chat, 2 games here at South Shore today, 2 games tonight at Great Kills as Sapir looks at a called strike 2. These umpires are not volunteers. They are paid as that's fouled away. Still 0-2 on Sapir. And that's grounded foul. Well, that ball took a very weird path into shallow left field. It rolled foul, curved around third base, and ended up about 5 or 10 feet fair down the left field line.
Third base umpire Dom watching the ball go. I worked a game with Dom 2 years ago. We had a 56-minute game.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Sapir goes down swinging, but not before Penfield brings home 2 more in the second. Our score headed to the third inning. Penfield 4, Plattsburgh nothing.
The Staten Island Ferry Hawks are proud to be a sponsor of this year's New York State Little League Championship because one championship organization deserves another. Come check out another amazing season with us at Staten Island University Hospital Community Ballpark with great ticket and group deals, theme nights, and fireworks displays. Good luck to all of our teams this week from your friends at the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. We'll see you at the game.
And we are back from South Shore, where Penfield now leads it by 4. Our first game of the day features Penfield taking on Plattsburgh. Coming up next, Auburn and Harrison take the field here at South Shore. Plenty on the line in that game. And if you're Harrison, the pressure is turned up just a bit more with a Penfield win, as Harrison would be in a must-win situation should Penfield win. However, if Penfield doesn't allow any runs, there's a bit of pressure on Auburn in that spot. They can't afford to lose a game that is high scoring in that scenario. So Penfield can put some pressure on both teams with a win if they're able to keep the run total for Plattsburgh down. But, of course, Plattsburgh hopes to have something to say about that, and they will send 10, 11, and 1 to the plate, looking to put a dent in that 4-run lead.
A lot of game left here for sure. Top of the third now. We just saw a word from our sponsor, the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. And Joe, August 9th, all-you-can-eat tickets at the Ferry Hawks. Might have to check that out.
That sounds like a plan. Are you in?
I think I'm going to be in, but we got to see what's on the menu first. If it's like all-you-can-eat hot dogs, I mean, I don't know about that. It needs to be like get a full menu, right?
I'm not picky, but the Ferry Hawks, of course, a great sponsor of this tournament, hosting the teams last night. They got a chance to take the field.
Yeah, one of their coaches, Coach Mike Morrow, was proud to present them onto the field. I saw his Instagram post.
Very nice. As that pitch is swung on and missed.
Gary Perone, the president of that team, general manager, he has a big role here at South Shore Little League where we are playing the game today.
Well, Nick, I think I have an error on my lineup card. I might have missed a player on the lineup card as that's chopped foul, so I'll have to make the adjustment here.
Yeah, I think I did mishear you in the pregame.
I missed Elliot Purrier. I missed Elliot Purrier in the lineup, so that's my mistake. Do you happen to have what position he's playing in front of you? Outfield, you mentioned?
He played? He was playing right field.
Okay.
But in the initial lineup card, he was in center field. But I do think he moved.
Okay.
And he's batting 10th.
All right, so I apologize for that. We transcribed the lineups off of screenshots, and I think I've covered now, this is my 6th game, and I've had lineup errors on my card in 3 of them as Purrier strikes out. So it was 10, 11, 12 due up for Plattsburgh.
And did we mention there was a pitching change?
We did not. I think that's Grayson McCormick, who we saw pitch the other night on Monday. Did a good job to limit the damage in that game. He inherited a really tough spot early and was able to stop the bleeding after 9 runs came home in the first 2 innings. Penfield bullpen did a very good job as just getting out of the way of that pitch was Nate Beatrice. That's popped up and sent foul.
Beatrice in loss on Tuesday. I was very impressed. He was catching, and he saved many runs with his amazing backhanded scoops.
And we've seen it all week, Nick. If you have a catcher who is able to keep the ball in front of him, it's game-changing. And we saw as well the ability to frame pitches paying dividends a couple of days ago in that game specifically. I believe it was between EGC and Massapequa Coast, but in one of those games we noted how many strikes we felt the catcher was framing in that game. Actually, I think it was the South Shore game. Peter Giacchio was the catcher we noted. So that was the second game, South Shore, North Shore. Either way, that's a big part of catching as that skied out to right, and Beatrice is retired.
Nice catch there, out right. And you have to remember with these outfielders, I mean, they are all big athletes. During the regular season on their teams in Little League, they're probably playing shortstop, third base. So everyone can make the plays out there.
A lot of Little Leaguers very adept at playing multiple positions. That's hit softly on the ground back toward the mound. McCormick flips to first, and the side is retired. Plattsburgh goes down 1-2-3 in the 3rd. Penfield still leads it 4-0.
State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
And we're back here on the PDF Sports Network, and there is some confusion in the live chat regarding what would need to happen for each team to make it. With 4 runs allowed in this game, the road for Plattsburgh would be very tough, so we'll focus on the potential for the 3-way tie at 2-1 right now. And if Penfield were to win this game, allowing no runs, and they're a long way away from doing that, but if they did do that, that applies a lot of pressure to Harrison and a lot of pressure to Auburn as well, because Penfield came in having allowed 10 runs. Harrison has allowed only 6. So if Harrison were to win a game that kept them under the 10 runs allowed mark, they would have the edge over Penfield. However, if Auburn allows more than 3 in a loss, that could send them out of the semifinal. It is going to be a very interesting afternoon, Nick, as we look ahead to Game 2. Still, plenty of work to be done for Penfield in this game, and Plattsburgh hopes to make some noise. But if this score holds, every team in the pool, with the exception of Plattsburgh, remains very much alive and very much at risk of failing to move on.
Right, and the bottom line with all that is you need to keep it locked here on PDF Sports Network to watch all the games today to see the outcomes.
Penfield to the plate here will send 12, 13, and 1 to bat.
Now, Joe, you'll be on the call for all 4 games today. Is that going to tie your career high for most games broadcast in a day?
Did I do 5? I've definitely done 4 in a day.
Yes.
I think I did do 5 once.
Had to be across 2 sports.
It was, I think, men's basketball, women's basketball. And I think I got one more in there, but that doesn't seem right.
Football?
I don't think it's possible that I could have done 5. I think 4 is the limit. That's in for a called strike 3. And Quinn Dougherty goes down looking.
Good pitch in there.
That will bring up Ambrose Valentini, one of the top 3 finishers in the Roadrunner competition yesterday. And Nick, if you missed the skills competition yesterday, especially that home run derby, you have to go back and watch it. Those kids put on an incredible show yesterday, as that's fouled away.
Much improved from last year's competition, that's for sure, as far as the number of balls flying over the fence.
In terms of sheer number of home runs, absolutely. There were far more yesterday. I was in utter disbelief at some of the shots that were hit out of the ballpark yesterday. We had a 5 for 5 in the final round by A.J. Malhotra. 5 swings, 5 home runs, and a couple of those were absolute moonshots.
Yeah, absolutely have to credit the good pitching as well.
And I mentioned that yesterday, how important it is to have a pitcher that serves you up just the right meatball to hit out of the stadium.
At the exact speed and the exact location you want it.
Yep. This is Ambrose Valentini behind 1 and 2, as I mentioned before. Valentini, I believe, had the fastest time around the bases in the opening round of the Roadrunner competition as he strikes out here. His final time was 3rd overall. Bentley Lanning was the winner. That's hit a mile high on the infield. Parks under it at short, and he makes the catch to retire the side. First 1-2-3 inning of the game for Matthew Whitbeck. Penfield goes down in order. They still lead 4-0.
NYS Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
And we're back from South Shore as we get set to begin the 4th inning. This game rolling right along. And Penfield hoping to keep this a scoreless game for Plattsburgh, as that greatly benefits them moving forward. Plattsburgh hoping to pile up the runs and give themselves a shot, and ultimately to take their first win in this tournament.
Top of the 4th here, past the halfway mark.
Top of the 4th, top of the lineup. O'Connell, Ryan, Parks due up. And the first pitch of the inning is hit on the ground, back to the mound. Throw to first in time. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, back-to-back pitches for him, going back to last on this inning. Right back at him, and both of them resulted in an out.
That will bring up Patrick Ryan. Ryan singled his first time. as part of a very promising start for Plattsburgh. That's taken high. That's in for a strike. That pitch is taken outside.
2-1 now. Or 1-2 now, rather.
That misses away. Auburn has not clinched yet, Thomas. They have not clinched yet. If Plattsburgh were to come from behind, Auburn would be clinched. We do have two teams that have punched their ticket already, those being Massapequa Coast and South Shore. Count full on Patrick Ryan, and that's hit toward the opposite field, and it bounces over the glove of the left fielder who was backing up behind short. But Belofsky was not going to have a play, and Ryan is 2 for 2.
Patrick Ryan with that signature Plattsburgh Little League opposite field hit there to get on base for his team.
And it looks like we're going to have a new pitcher here, as McCormick reached 21 during that at-bat. So he will be available for a potential game tomorrow, as he was under the 20-pitch mark. And you have to think that Penfield, as long as they have a comfortable lead, they might elect to manage their pitching that way, try and keep their pitchers under that rest threshold for a day and have them available for a potential game tomorrow. So what we're going to do here is step aside and take a break. The new pitcher for Penfield is Jack Clark, and he will take over officially when we come back. Foul. And we're back, as we had a wild pitch on the second throw out of the bullpen for Jack Clark. That allowed Patrick Ryan to move up to second. And with a pitching change, that might be the shortest warm-up session we've seen.
He took about one pitch, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe two?
Yeah.
He was rearing to go.
Typically, relievers have taken some more time. But Clark was ready well ahead of the end of our commercial break, as that's grounded toward the middle. Low throw to first gets away. And everyone is safe as Parks reaches on the error, and Ryan moves up to third.
Parks there thought about making the turn, smartly went back to the bag at first, and good chance now for Plattsburgh to get into the scoring column.
That pitch sails over the head of the batter, Matthew Whitbeck, allowing Parks to take second. Clark's come in a bit wild. Now, Nick, would you give an error on that? That was toward the middle as well, error? I thought he had him moving toward the bag. As that's off the glove of the diving second baseman and into right field. Great effort by Natali. Not enough to rob Matthew Whitbeck of a base hit. And now it is a 3-run game as Parks moves up to third. In to score is Ryan, and it's 4-1.
Great job of hitting there. And back to your point, Joe, I think I would give it an error because.
And there's another wild pitch. You know, I'm inclined to agree with you, Nick. I gave it an error on my scorecard. I was curious about your opinion, but the reason I'd give that one an error as opposed to the other one is that his momentum was taking him right toward the base.
Right, and then the throw was off the mark.
Yes.
So to make sure we're on the same page here, we have 4 hits in the game for Plattsburgh.
Correct. I am so used to digital scoring. As Rowan Rabideau takes low, and he's ahead 2-1.
Taking it back old school. Well, Joe, you used to score on your iPad back in the day as well.
I've scored on Stat Crew via an old Windows computer. As that swung on and missed for strike 2. I've used the pen and paper. I've used an iPad. So I've hit just about the full spectrum of scoring options. Here comes the 2-2. And that's outside for ball 3. And a walk here will bring the go-ahead run to the plate. That's hit sharply to third. Throw across the diamond is low, and that is a great scoop by Sullivan. He saved an additional run.
What a job there on the scoop to make that play. And the run does score, though, but a really nice job there defensively. When you're up by 3, you could just focus on getting the out, and that's what they did there.
2 runs home in the inning now, as that misses high to Jacoby Waldron.
A nice look at this scoop here by the first baseman on the replay.
If that gets by Sullivan, I don't think there's any doubt Whitbeck scores. There's a swing and a miss by Waldron for strike 1. Comes the 1-1. That's popped up in foul territory and out of play. With each run that comes home for Plattsburgh, Harrison and Auburn are pleased. Makes their path a bit easier.
For the run ratio.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3 as Waldron was out in front of the off-speed pitch. But Plattsburgh is halfway back. Our score now 4-2, headed to the home 4th inning.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we're back from South Shore Little League, where things are beginning to get a lot more interesting in this one. Plattsburgh, behind a 4th inning 2-run rally, is halfway back as they look for their first win in this 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. And Nick, if you're Penfield, perhaps electing to take out your starting pitcher or perhaps your reliever in Grayson McCormick hurt you just a bit in that spot, as 2 runs come in to score. And now, if you're Penfield, you really have to be conscious of how many runs you allow here. They've allowed 12, and that puts them 5 runs allowed away from Auburn, the next closest team in that column. Also, they are now a -6 in runs allowed relative to Harrison, so that hurts. There's a swing and a miss for strike one. Big swing there by Noah Lemuti.
63 pitches now for Whitbeck.
And that's foul back. Well, in terms of hits allowed, Whitbeck has given up 3, but the hit batter and the 3 walks really hurt. The hit batter and 2 walks came in to score.
Right, and Penfield, only 3 hits in this game, but 4 runs.
And that's hit well out to left. And did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Nate Beatrice with a diving grab in left field. What a play.
Unbelievable job there by him to grab that. Take a look at that in a moment on the replay.
What a play by Beatrice. He robbed Lemuti.
I told you earlier, Beatrice was really impressive the other day behind the plate and impressive now in left field. Take a look at this replay. Great job there by him coming in and diving to make the catch.
Great break on the ball was the difference, Nick. So Beatrice, with the robbery, records the first out. And that may help his pitcher get through an additional inning. You never know. As that is chopped foul. And the count is 1-2 on Noah Bolt. Bolt at the plate, 0 for 1. Dangerous hitter behind him, and Ryan Sullivan, who's already homered in this game. That's grounded foul again. There is action in the Penfield bullpen. Louis Sapir is throwing. Clark threw 17 pitches after coming in the last inning. This is number 71 for Whitbeck. And that misses high. That's hit a mile high on the infield. And Parks has another. 2 away.
Certainly for Plattsburgh after last inning at the plate. Looking for the quick 1-2-3 here and to get back up there with a chance to tie it, but big hitter right now to deal with.
Ryan Sullivan, 1 for 1 with a no-doubter back in the first inning. And he looks at ball 1. Whitbeck now at 73 pitches. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Check that, strike 1. They got that strike up there fast, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
We had a pitch count request.
Mr. Vigliotti back there, quick on the board.
There is strike 2. Whitbeck not shy about challenging Sullivan despite the earlier home run. And that is a rope into straightaway center field.
No answers for Sullivan right now.
That ball was hit hard, Nick.
That might have been hit harder than the home run.
That's the second scorcher off his bat. And they often say a home run is a mistake where you got a bit under the ball. Those are the kinds of line drives that coaches want to see their players hitting. And it looks like there's going to be a conference at the mound here and some action beginning to stir out in the Plattsburgh bullpen. So you have to think that at most, Whitbeck could get through 2 more hitters. He's at 76 pitches now, and if he finishes this at bat anywhere under 85, he can go 1 more batter.
Joseph Lamonto getting ready in the bullpen.
Whitbeck will face Spencer Camp. He retired Camp on a fly ball to right field. In his first at bat, and Camp swings and misses for strike 1. Pitch number 78 on its way. And that's in for a strike. That misses high. 1-2 the count. Pitch number 80 coming. And it is swung on and missed for strike 3. Camp goes down swinging, and that may do it for Matt Whitbeck, who after a rough start in the first inning, pitched a good ball game, 4 runs allowed over 4 innings, and his team will come to bat trailing by a pair in the 5th.
To sports, why be good when you can be legendary? At Legend Sporting Goods in Brooklyn, we service the community with only the best custom apparel, embroidery, and service, specializing in youth sports, so that the leaders of today become the legends of tomorrow. We're proud to support all of this week's great athletes and invite everyone to check us out and make us a part of your team. Come see why Legend Sporting Goods is in a class by itself. Visit us online or call us now.
And we are back here from South Shore with a message from our friends over at Great Kills. Fall ball registration is now open. As of about 1 week ago, registration opened online, and that runs through August 15th. A t-shirt and hat is included in the $200 price, and each additional sibling comes with a discount. Birth dates for the spring 2025 and age divisions are listed below as well. You can scan the QR code for more information, or you can visit www.gklittleleague.com for more.
Gotta love it. Fall ball. Great way to keep the baseball season going after the hot summer.
We get most of our baseball fix during the spring at the College of Staten Island when you and I call plenty of games. Not as many this year, but in the past we've called quite a few. I don't think I missed too many this year, but most of our work on the baseball and softball diamonds come in the months of March and April with a little bit in early May. So this is a highlight for us during the summer. And, of course, a highlight in the careers of these young athletes.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a lot better competition of baseball here in this Little League World Series than we tend to see outside. And this is the elite. This is the best of the best in everybody's hometown coming together for this tournament.
And that pitch is in for a strike to Joey Lamonto. 7-8-9 due up for Plattsburgh. So, Nick, a clarification on run ratio. Dividing the runs allowed by 6 would apply if a team played only 6-inning games. It is defensive innings that is the number divided from runs allowed. So shortened games and extra inning games are accounted for. The amount of different explanations we have gotten for run ratio the last 2 years, I don't have enough fingers to count. So that pitch misses high. Of course, the team's hoping it doesn't come down to that. Penfield, with a win in this game, would be hoping for an Auburn win as Lamonto goes down swinging, and sounds like a lot of groans from down around home plate, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, from this area, it looks like it was a little low and outside, but we don't have a good vantage point on balls and strikes from here at all.
Won't even begin to speculate as that pitch misses high. At the plate here, Blake Loughton shouts. He's 0 for 1. New pitcher as well for Penfield. As we speculated, they'd likely look to keep each of their arms under the 20-pitch mark. This is Braden Struzik now on the mound. We've seen him pitch earlier in the week. That's in for a called strike. Generally speaking, in this game. The Penfield Arms have been very efficient. There was a first inning walk, but until that fourth inning, they were rolling. Count now 3-1 on Lautenschouts. And he takes a strike.
Well, the key to making a long run, ultimately, hopefully, to Williamsport, really comes down to having multiple pitchers. No team could win with just one pitcher with the way the pitch counts work.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Lautenschouts goes down swinging, and there are 2 away.
Good pitching so far in this inning.
Great start for Struzik, taking full advantage of the strike zone. That will bring up Zeno Lefebvre. He takes high. Lefebvre 0 for 1 at the plate, grounded out to short his first time up. And that is in for a called strike. And you can see, Nick, frustration is beginning to mount for these Plattsburgh hitters. They're not happy.
It's getting late. There's not many at-bats left.
Count now 2-1. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Long look in from Struzik. Here's the 2-2. And that is in for a called strike 3. Struzik strikes out the side. It took him 16 pitches to do so. And we head to the home fifth with Penfield looking for some insurance.
This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering Island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
And we're back from South Shore here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Penfield looking for some insurance and hoping to keep Plattsburgh right where they are. And Nick, you have to think that if you told Penfield coming into this game that they would win and allow 2 runs, they'd probably take that. It still is far from a foregone conclusion that they are moving on, but they've given themselves a good enough chance.
Winning the game, that's the way to give yourself a chance. So that's how they're looking to start things up here. We'll get a delay to start this game until we got someone coming out to the bullpen to catch the ball in case there's a foul ball.
And Nick, it looks like they are going to have Matt Whitbeck start the inning. So they're going to
might as well
run him straight to the 85 pitch limit. He will face his counterpart, Braden Struzik, and it looks like he has a 1 pitch out. And he does.
1 pitch, 1 out. Perfect.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be something if Whitbeck can get out of this under the 85 pitches in this inning?
That will bring up Jack Clark. So Penfield has used 4 separate arms. It has been all Whitbeck for Plattsburgh as he deals a strike. That is in for a called strike 2. So Nick, he has 1 pitch to get him under the 85 pitch limit. And that looks to be headed toward foul ground and out of play.
So this will be his last batter.
This will be it.
Lamonto ready to go in the bullpen.
He's been throwing directly below us for the last inning or so. Count remains 0-2 on Clark. He walked his first time up, and he lines out to short here. Lamonto already jogging in. And Whitbeck will surrender the baseball, but a very strong outing for the Plattsburgh starting pitcher. He gave his team a chance, and he will receive a hug from his manager, Ryan O'Connell. A job well done for Whitbeck, who also receives hugs and handshakes from his teammates. So what we'll do, Nick, is step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, Lamonto takes over for Whitbeck here in the bottom of the fifth. And we are back in a 4-2 ball game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the fifth. As we mentioned, heading into the break, the new pitcher, Joey Lamonto for Plattsburgh, and that ball was hit pretty well to third. No chance for Parks, but I think that will go down as an E5, as there to make the play and just having it hit off his glove was Rabideau.
So 2 outs here and a runner on base now.
That will bring up Grayson McCormick. And that's taken outside.
So, Joe, what do you have for errors in this game for Plattsburgh? Was that the second or the first?
I have the 1 error.
Yes, okay.
And then on the other side, I think I also have 1. Maybe 2? 1.
Okay, 1 apiece. Yep.
Yep.
So 4 hits apiece, an error apiece, but Penfield up 4-2.
Count 1-1 on McCormick. That's a couple of good stops behind the plate.
Looks like Beatrice is back there now, perhaps, after we saw his nice
they've shuffled around.
Playing left.
That's fouled off. Count even at 2.
Joe, what do you remember from your Little League days?
I was pitcher. I remember thinking that any play that wasn't made had to be an error because it could never be my fault.
Absolutely.
I score like a pitcher for the most part. But I was an all-star in CYO at about this age, 10 or 11. So I was playing, I think my final year in Little League was 4th grade. So I would have been 9. So I was younger than this. 9, 10 years old was my last year playing. But I was a pretty good player. Corner infielder and pitcher. As that's hit out to right. And foul. Never quite played in a game that had the stakes that these games have.
Right. Big stakes at play here.
I remember playing in the All-Star game, CYO All-Star game, and being elated to get hit by a pitch that I got on base. count full here on McCormick. And that's ball 4. And he's on for the second time.
2 runners on here with 2 outs now.
That will bring up Will Belofsky. What's your Little League story? Anything?
Well, I played the maximum number of years that I went on, and I played till I was 18, and I pretty much played everywhere. I started my career playing catcher and first base. As I got a little older, I played pitcher, some shortstop and third base, so a little bit of center field in some bigger games, and an enjoyable time, but multiple time championship game loser. Never have won anything in my life, and that has carried on into my adult career and softball career and my men's league as well.
I'll have to help you out then come playoff time. As that's it out to right, falling fast. That's down for a hit, and it gets away in right field. 1 run in to score, and the throw is cut off at first. Penfield picks up a big insurance run, and Nick, the error proves costly.
Yeah, comes back to haunt them there as the runner scores, and 5-2 game. That's a big run for Penfield.
It's an RBI single for Will Belofsky. He's been on base twice. He had a big 2 RBI hit in the game on Monday as that's popped up, heading towards shallow left, and Loughton Shouts has it to retire the side, but not before Penfield picks up an insurance run. It does go down as an unearned run following the error, and that puts Plattsburgh behind 5-2 down to their final 3 outs.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one. With awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
And we're back from South Shore Little League with Plattsburgh down to their final 3 outs against Penfield. Penfield hoping to move on to the semifinal after they were eliminated in pool play last year. And Nick, you have to love the way that Penfield has rebounded after a tough loss on night 1. They've looked strong in each of their last 2 games, winning by multiple runs on Tuesday and coming into this inning with a chance to win by multiple runs again.
I'll definitely have picked things up here in this game, and 5 runs in this one. Started off early, back-to-back innings with 2 runs, and tackled on a big insurance run in the bottom half of the 5th.
Plattsburgh hoping to play spoiler in this spot. They will send the top of the order, I should say, the bottom of the order to the plate. My mistake. Elliot Purrier will be the batter. So it's going to be the bottom third, 10, 11, 12 due up. And if the top of the lineup does get a chance, Plattsburgh's in business. Elliot Purrier, 0 for 1 with a strikeout, faces Braden Struzik, who enters the inning with 16 pitches, and he sends number 17 to the backstop. Count 1-0. And that's in for a called strike. Comes the 1-1. That's sliced foul. If you're Struzik here, you have to make Plattsburgh put the ball in play. Throw strikes, You have the 3-run cushion. In this game, 7 through 12 in the Plattsburgh lineup have not reached yet a combined 0 for 9. So you have that working in your favor as Puryear takes high.
2-2 now.
This next pitch is 21 for Struzik. No action in the Penfield bullpen. And he deals strike 3 called.
Struzik looking to get the save here and potentially have his team advance.
That is 5 straight strikeouts for Penfield pitching. And they've really piled up the strikeout numbers in this game. They have 8 total, as that's bunted foul. This is Nate Beatrice. Beatrice 0 for 1, flew out to right his first time. Made a great play in left defensively. He looks at a strike. Struzik ahead of Beatrice 0-2. And that misses high. Comes the 1-2. And that misses high as well.
Plattsburgh just needs base runners. Any way they can get them, they'll take them.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. 6 consecutive strikeouts for Penfield pitching. And heading into a potential semifinal game tomorrow, you have to love the way that you've pitched in this game. If you're Penfield, everyone who's come in has contributed to the cause.
Yeah, and great job by the manager to manage the pitch count as well to keep everybody available, except for, obviously, Struzik here, who's looking to get the save.
Now, did the starter go over 21 pitches, spot of 4? I think he did. I think he was into the mid-30s. So he'll have to rest a day. But in the middle, you had Clark and McCormick, who were both kept under 20, entering their final hitter faced. Andrew Carter ahead 2-0 here, and he looks at a strike. Carter tapped one back to the mound his first time up. Comes the 2-1. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And Tyler, we will go over the run totals as soon as this game is over. Absolutely. And the 2-2 misses up and in for ball 3. Count now full. Behind Carter is the top of the order for Plattsburgh. And Struzik will step off. The payoff pitch is in for a called strike 3. Penfield ends the game with 7 consecutive strikeouts. And with that victory, they have put themselves in a position to wait and see. An Auburn win would send Penfield into the semifinal. A Harrison victory would make things a bit more complicated in our second game. But before we talk about the potential scenarios moving forward, of course, we'd like to congratulate Plattsburgh for making it this far after a really tough night one. They did not quit and gave a good accounting in each of their last 2 games. Very nearly picked up a victory in their second outing against Auburn, a team that's been so tough. And here today, they battled back from a 4-run deficit, cut the lead in half. They ultimately fall short.
Yes, but a good showing. They did have some highlights for them, and this will be a tough pill to swallow, the way the tournament ended for them, but certainly memories that'll last a lifetime for these players.
No question that these games are games that will stick with these kids for years to come, and perhaps one day they'll have a headset with their own story to tell, much like you and I. I think their stories will be far more interesting than ours, Nick, but let's talk about those run totals now. Breaking it down as we did in the pregame, Auburn is atop this pool with 7 runs allowed. Penfield improves to 2-1. Officially, for now, they are in second place in this pool. They have allowed 12 runs. Meanwhile, Harrison is actually in the best position should the three teams that have won at least a game tie, because Harrison has only allowed 6 runs. So once again, Auburn has allowed 7, Penfield has now allowed 12, and Harrison has allowed 6. If Harrison wins and Auburn allows a hefty run total, they could get knocked out despite a 2-0 start. Obviously, they hope that doesn't happen. Penfield hoping that Auburn simply wins and moves them on. As much as they would like to win the pool, I think that they would prefer it to know that with a 2-1 record they are in, they don't want anything to do with a 3-way tie if they have their say. So,
yeah. And Joe, I just want to say, luckily we're not calling a basketball game next because Auburn and Harrison have the same exact jerseys.
Do they?
Maroon and maroon with the white numbers.
Wow. Yeah. That would be problematic. So Auburn and Harrison will be wearing nearly identical uniforms for Game 2. We will be sure to be very clear about who is at the plate and who is in the field. However, we can tell you that the home team in that game will be Harrison Little League. First pitch is scheduled for 1 p.m. We will have that for you right back here on the PDF Sports Network. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman on the call alongside Nick Durst. We hope to have everyone in the live chat back for game number 2. Once again, first pitch scheduled for 1 p.m. pregame at 12:45.